Welcome back, everyone, to another action-packed update as we dive deep into one of the most anticipated rivalries in all of football, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles, a clash that always seems to carry more weight, more intensity, and more drama than almost any other matchup on the NFL schedule. This isn't just about two teams fighting for wins, it's about bragging rights, divisional positioning, and playoff implications that stretch far beyond the regular season. Fans on both sides circle these games the moment the schedule drops, and the energy surrounding the upcoming showdown is already at a fever pitch. As we break down everything you need to know from injury news to matchups, players to watch, and how this game could shape the NFC East, make sure you stick around because there's a lot to unpack, and you won't want to miss a single detail of what's coming in this heated rivalry. The first major storyline heading into this game is the health of some key players. Both the Cowboys and the Eagles have dealt with injuries that could swing the momentum in either direction. Dallas fans have been holding their breath for updates on several key starters, and some good news is finally starting to filter in. Trayvon Diggs, one of the league's premier ball-hawking cornerbacks, who has been battling his way back from injury, has reportedly made strong progress in practice. The expectation is that he could be available, giving Dallas secondary a massive boost against a Philadelphia passing attack that loves to stretch the field with big plays. Tyler Guyton, the talented rookie offensive lineman who suffered a scare earlier this season, is also trending in the right direction. His availability is critical, especially in a game where trench warfare could determine who leaves with a victory. Protecting Dak Prescott against one of the league's most relentless pass rushes is no small task, and Guyton's return could be a difference maker. On the other side, the Eagles have had their own challenges, particularly with lingering issues in their secondary. Injuries to key defensive backs have left Philadelphia vulnerable at times, and against a Dallas offense that thrives on rhythm, spacing, and quick strike opportunities, any weaknesses in coverage could be exploited. However, as every Cowboys fan knows, the Eagles' front seven remains one of the most ferocious units in the league. Led by dominant interior linemen and edge rushers who can wreck a game plan in seconds, Philadelphia's defense thrives on collapsing pockets, forcing turnovers, and dictating tempo. Even if their secondary isn't at full strength, their ability to pressure the quarterback can often mask deficiencies on the back end. For Dallas, that means the offensive line must be at its best, communicating, adjusting, and executing under pressure, because one or two breakdowns could shift the game's momentum instantly. The quarterback matchup is always front and center in games like this, and Dak Prescott versus Jalen Hurts is no exception. Prescott enters this matchup with a chip on his shoulder, knowing the national conversation has often favored Hurts and the Eagles as the superior NFC East power. Yet Prescott has consistently played some of his best football against Philadelphia, often rising to the occasion when the lights are brightest. The chemistry between Dak and CeeDee Lamb has been electric, and with Brandon Cooks and Jake Ferguson becoming increasingly comfortable in their roles, Dallas has more than one way to attack an Eagles defense that can be forced into mismatches if properly schemed against. Expect the Cowboys to try to establish rhythm early, mixing in quick throws, screens, and possibly even some no-huddle tempo to keep Philadelphia's front from rotating fresh legs and teeing off on Prescott in obvious passing downs. Jalen Hurts, meanwhile, remains one of the most dynamic dual-threat quarterbacks in the NFL. His ability to extend plays, turn broken pockets into chunk yardage, and keep drives alive with his legs gives Philadelphia an offensive edge few teams can match. Combined with a receiving duo like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, the Eagles' passing game is explosive, balanced, and dangerous at every level of the field. Dallas defense, anchored by Micah Parsons, will need a plan that contains Hurts without giving up too much cushion in coverage. Parsons' versatility rushing off the edge, lining up as a linebacker, even dropping into coverage will be central to Dan Quinn's defensive blueprint. Expect a spy on Hurts in certain situations and disguised pressures to try to disrupt Philadelphia's timing and force them into uncomfortable third and long scenarios. Turnovers will be huge here. Whichever defense can steal a possession or two could tilt the game dramatically. One area where this matchup always turns brutal is in the trenches, and this year is no different. Philadelphia boasts one of the most consistent and dominant offensive lines in football, a group that excels in both pass protection and run blocking. Dallas' defensive front, however, is built for speed and chaos, with Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence capable of breaking through even the most well-coached units. The battle here will define how much time Hurts has to operate, and by extension, how effective Philadelphia's offense can be. If Dallas can create havoc early, they can dictate terms, force quicker throws, and possibly bait Hurts into risky decisions. Conversely, if Philadelphia controls the line of scrimmage, it opens the door for their bruising run game, their signature quarterback sneaks, and a balanced attack that can wear down defenses over 4 quarters. Another key storyline is special teams. Often overlooked, these hidden yardage battles can change the course of rivalry games. The Cowboys have seen some improvements in their kicking and coverage units, but against a disciplined team like Philadelphia, every punt return, every field position swap matters. A blocked punt, a missed field goal, or even a long return at a critical moment could be the momentum swing that separates these two evenly matched rivals. Both coaching staffs know how small the margin for error is in a game like this, so expect disciplined, detail-focused play in all 3 phases, with each side looking for that one spark to tilt the scales. Players to watch go beyond the obvious stars. For Dallas, keep an eye on Tony Pollard. If the Cowboys can get their ground game going early, it not only takes pressure off Prescott but also helps neutralize Philadelphia's pass rush by keeping them honest. Pollard's ability to hit the edge, exploit mismatches against linebackers, and provide pass-catching value out of the backfield could be crucial. Jake Ferguson, the emerging tight end, could also be a quiet difference maker, especially in red zone situations where space is tight and execution must be precise. Defensively, look for Stephon Gilmore to play a significant role opposite Diggs, potentially shadowing one of Philadelphia's top receivers and giving Quinn more flexibility in his coverages. For the Eagles, DeAndre Swift's role will be pivotal. If Philadelphia establishes the run, they can open up play action, dictate tempo, and keep Dallas' pass rush on its heels. On defense, Haason Reddick remains a game wrecker off the edge, someone who can blow up a drive with one perfectly timed rush. Dallas must account for him on every snap, because even one free shot at Prescott could alter the game's trajectory. Linebacker play for Philadelphia will also be under the microscope, particularly in covering Dallas tight ends and backs in space, an area where the Cowboys can exploit mismatches if the Eagles aren't disciplined. This game is more than a single win or loss, it's a statement opportunity. For Dallas, it's a chance to silence critics, assert themselves as legitimate contenders, and prove they can handle the NFC's best on the road or at home. For Philadelphia, it's about maintaining dominance, defending their turf, and reminding the league why they've been considered a powerhouse in recent seasons. The emotional stakes are as high as the strategic ones, and every player knows what's at stake. Coaches will game plan meticulously, but when the whistle blows, it will come down to execution, poise, and who wants it more in the defining moments. As the countdown to kickoff continues, fans on both sides are bracing for another chapter in a rivalry that rarely disappoints. The noise will be deafening, the intensity palpable, and the margin for error razor thin. One play, a tipped pass, a strip sack, a perfectly timed deep shot could decide it all. Both teams have the talent, both have the motivation, and both have the history to make this yet another classic in a long line of unforgettable clashes. When the final whistle blows, one side will celebrate with their playoff hopes strengthened, their confidence soaring, while the other will walk off knowing every missed block, every dropped pass, every lapse in focus cost them in one of the biggest stages of the regular season. That's the full breakdown as we head into Cowboys vs. Eagles, a rivalry that never fails to deliver. If you're as fired up for this matchup as we are, make sure you're ready when kickoff hits, because this one has all the makings of a game that will be talked about for weeks. Thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into everything surrounding Dallas and Philadelphia, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update as we continue to cover every twist and turn in this thrilling NFL season.